So we're going live to LinkedIn. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Lead Generation Masterclass. My name's Alex Smith. I'm going to be hosting this morning. This morning, we are looking at the subject of strategies for growing connections and influence on LinkedIn. So that's the title of today's session. The way we normally kind of run these live sessions is a bit of a training. So it's all LinkedIn lead generation tricks and tips to support you to kind of win more business through the power of LinkedIn. And normally that's about 20 minutes. And then after that, we tend to go over to a Zoom audience to see if there's any questions, concerns, see what people are up to. We're just waiting for a few more participants to roll in. It's a bit thin on the ground today. I put that down to a new email system, so a lot of people probably haven't got the reminders. But let's kick off. On the agenda today, we have introduction and overview. Number 2 is going to be looking at understanding your ideal customer. Number 3, we're going to look at connection methods, all the different types of connecting and reaching out to people using LinkedIn. We've got number 4 is all about using ChatGPT to write campaigns and write messages to people. If you're struggling for words and you're just not sure what to do, then ChatGPT is a very powerful resource which is available to you to kind of automate that. And then number 5, I'm going to dip my toes into the the Leadeth automation tool. It's a sales, I guess it's a kind of like a sales engagement tool is what we call it. But it's a process of kind of automating all of your lead gen. So we'll learn the manual process, and then we'll look at how I'm doing it on autopilot using my software. And then, as I say, towards the end of the session, we're going to have some open Q&A. So that's the agenda for today. I'm just going to welcome Ashley to the room. Morning, Ashley. Hopefully you can join me today. Good to see you. So yeah, introduction. For those of you who aren't familiar, I'm going to just quickly run through a quick introduction. So once again, this masterclass is all about building a powerful LinkedIn network, whether you're looking to increase your influence, gain more leads, or just build your personal brand. Having a strong focus on LinkedIn is going to be key, and that will help you to achieve your goals. So this morning's session, we're going to be sharing proven strategies for growing your connections and increasing your reach on the world's largest platform for business and professional networking. So we're going to cover everything from optimizing your profile, building a targeted list of prospects, engaging with your network, and leveraging LinkedIn's built-in tools and features. So by the end of this masterclass, hopefully you'll have a clear kind of roadmap for what you need to be doing in terms of building out a powerful network for yourself. And hopefully that's going to help you to kind of supercharge your career or business to the next level. So let's get started. My name's Alex Smith, and I've got around about 10 years experience with LinkedIn marketing. Proactively for the last kind of 3 to 4 years, I've been working in various different businesses, startups, lots of different things, which has given me the experience that I've got. So today I'm excited to share some of my top tips and insights with you from kind of what I've learned over the years, and currently what I'm doing for some of my paid retained clients to kind of manage their LinkedIns and automate a lot of their outreach. So throughout the session, you're going to learn lots of best practice proven strategies that will help you to initiate connections with potential clients or partners. And also we're going to hopefully give you some valuable insights and actionable tips that you can take away with you and apply. So where does this all start? I mean, what we're looking at here is marketing. It's the marketing function of a business. It's getting your business, getting people aware of your personal brand or your business. And this is the classic marketing model that we talk about. It starts with awareness, goes down to interest, consider, purchase, and then retention, where they remain loyal clients. So pretty much most of the activities that we're doing are right at the top of that funnel. It's getting you out there, getting you noticed. So having a really good profile on LinkedIn with a professional headshot, a really clear headline bio with what you do and the problems you solve, so people can see your profile page on LinkedIn, and straight away they know what you're about. So that's vital. We then move to this interest, so how do we get that audience to engage with us? Well, we do it through lead magnets. That could be a digital scorecard or quiz app, which gives them a score about how they're performing in a certain area, or helps them out with a problem that they've got. So a classic one is case studies. So proven examples of where you've worked with clients similar to them and how you've addressed their pain points. That works really well. So that gets the interest going. And then that moves them down to what I call like a sales meeting or a strategy call, where they're considering you. They're weighing up the options, and then they move down. You've won the deal, and then they've purchased from you, and then you've got to retain them as clients. So the modern take on this flywheel effect is called the flywheel effect. So that we start at the top there with attract, we engage prospects, we then delight them, and then they become advocates for us. So they read the reviews and testimonials that you're generating, and that in turn invites more people into this circle, and it creates a bit of a flywheel effect that goes round and round. So apologies if you've seen this on previous meetings, but I love to frame kind of what Leadeth's about and where we're supporting clients. So it's very much about helping and supporting small business owners who are struggling to get sales from LinkedIn. It might be that they just don't have a proven strategy that works. They don't know what they're doing on LinkedIn, so their knowledge is kind of really low down. But it's a fantastic digital marketing tool that you can leverage to get more business and more sales. It starts right at the 0-1 there. That's the starting point on the roadmap, where we identify the target audience. So we've actually got access to a database of over 350 million verified work emails, and also 750 million data enriched profiles. And they're all connected to LinkedIn profiles. So it's a little bit like Sales Navigator, if you're familiar with Sales Navigator. The Leadeth has basically connected to a data set. So we can access personal LinkedIn email addresses or work email addresses. We can access phone numbers, mobile numbers, a lot of data points for that prospect before we've even connected with them, which is quite powerful, because then we've got an omni-channel approach going on. Now that we understand kind of who the clients are that we need to be targeting, and we've got a tidy list of those clients, the next priority is to look at creating an attractive LinkedIn profile. This is a captivating headline with great copy that's going to ensure your profile is complete as it can be, with a beautiful headshot photo ideally. Once that profile is there, then your audience will click on that profile, they'll see what you're about, and they'll come to you, and you'll be found on searches. Enable creator mode in LinkedIn. That's a vital step that you need to be doing as well, because that enables you to have a call to action on your profile page, like a web link to a case study or a bit of content or a free weekly course that you're running, or whatever it is that you can kind of help your audience with. And it's all about adding value. We need to just be adding value all the time on LinkedIn. So step 3 is leveraging over 2,000 LinkedIn touchpoints, and that's done using APIs with LinkedIn. So we've got this data enriched multi-channel sequencing software that I'm going to demonstrate to you a bit later on in the call. And we can create a bespoke campaign using AI that's going to create beautiful personalized intros if you want those, a video which is personalized to that prospect, and they can see, wow, this is really highly personalized, and that's going to increase your conversion rates and get a higher response rate by having all these automated campaigns. Very much the sales journey or the sales process, it's all about having lots of touch points with a prospect. Nobody's going to just say, yeah, I want this now. I'm going to need you to do all this for me. Have a sale kind of on the first touch point. It just doesn't happen. It takes 4 to 7 touch points with a prospect. It takes a bit of interaction. They want to know who you are, what you're about, how you can help them. They need to know that there's trust there, there's credibility there. So you've got to build all that out, and that takes time and it takes touch points. But the beauty is there's lots of different touch points. So you could do a LinkedIn message, you could do a nice follow-up email, and then you could do a courteous follow-up phone call to see if it's going to go any further. So when you start to encompass all these 3 different outreach methods, you've kind of got them really, really nicely. So if they go cold on you on LinkedIn, you've still got the 2 other options, or if they're not picking up the phones, you still can roll back to LinkedIn messages or emails. So it works really well to have a multi-channel, an omni-channel approach in terms of your LinkedIn outreach. So that's number 4. Basically, it's a courteous email that goes out after we've connected with them on LinkedIn. If you've got a legitimate reason under, PERC or GDPR or whatever the latest regulations are, we see that as legitimate consent. If you've connected with someone and they've shown an interest to attend your LinkedIn event or something, then great, you can send them an email by all means. Step 5 is all about content marketing. So adding content out there. And I've actually got a 13-week cycle that I work to. And that's basically rinse and repeat a lot of content. Some of it's current, trending time stuff. Obviously, you can push that into the mix as well. But it's essential to start to build out a bit of a content plan. And our friends over at ChatGPT, they've made it really easy for us to, if we're not sure what to be posting about, they can actually create a content schedule for you for the rest of the month. And if you do 3 months worth, that's 13 weeks. You can then recycle that content every quarter and just repeat it. And then it's engaging with people once they've posted or commented on that comment. And that's where we're starting to build the relationship as well. And that's where new connections will come about. And once they're in your fold, in your first degree network, that's when we can retarget them and send them a message every 6 months to say, hey, up, I'm currently working on this, or I've got a requirement for this, or I'm running a pilot scheme or a beta test group of this specific product. And then that's where we get those wins where people say, yeah, I'm up for that. Yes, I'd love to have a chat. A lot of quick wins often we see on the first degree nudge campaigns. The final step in the process is this appointment setting. So it's having a system or a solution where you can make sure all the leads are being tracked onto a database or CRM, because we don't want leads to fall through the cracks. Probably the most responsive you are to those messages, the better, the more chance that the prospect is coming back to you. Certainly if they're red hot and they're interested in your services, we need to get back to them in a timely fashion. So I always encourage clients to go into Leadeth on a daily basis, go into their inbox and respond back to those messages, every day if they can, just to takes about 5 minutes just to run through all the replies that you're getting and just make sure they've got a reply. Even if they're not interested, there's an easy message that you can send a reply template to say, hey, I know you're not interested, but do you know anyone in your network who might be interested in blah, blah, blah? And that's always really good because, that'll be top of their mind. And then if you can nudge them in 3 months or 6 months time, they're going to kind of, a need might arise, or it might be a different timing. They might be in a different job by then. But so think about that. So that's our journey, the Leadeth Pro roadmap, where we're taking clients from, struggling on LinkedIn all the way up to having more sales and more time. So before we start connecting with potential prospects on LinkedIn, it's important to take some time and understand the ideal prospect or the ideal customer, IC. Some people refer to it as. Some people refer them to also as avatars, or there's another word that people have been using lately, which I came across, called persona. So, these are just describing a group or segment of your audience who you want to be connecting with. So once we know that audience or that ideal customer, that helps us to then create a really targeted approach. And then our messaging, our connection request messaging and follow-up messaging is going to be hot. It's going to be relevant to them. It's going to add value to where they're at. And it's going to increase the chances of getting positive responses, which is what we want. So when we start to understand ideal client prospects, so we understand their job title, it could be their company size, the industry, the location where they're based, and any other relevant information that's going to help us to kind of tailor that messaging. That information is also going to be used to help us to determine whether they're a good fit for our business. And that's going to save us time and effort in the long run in terms of qualification and being able to pull people out of campaigns and not waste money on campaigns when they can be going to more the right sorts of people. Negative search terms are a great way as well. So if you're using LinkedIn search, even the basic version, you can do a search for, say, business owner, and then you can use the Boolean type or not statement. So if you do capital NOT, not, and then put another word after that, like maybe retired. That's one that I use quite a lot because I don't really want to connect with retired people. Because it's kind of counterintuitive often. So you can actually pull those out of a campaign, which obviously saves you time rather than connecting with them, sending the first few follow-up messages and them saying, oh, I'm actually retired, by the way. It's most frustrating when you're wasting time like that. So once we've identified those ideal prospects, do take time, research the company, their industry. Certainly, if you've got a manual process for this, the more information you can gain, the better, and the more likely that they're going to interact with you and respond to you. That's going to help you to get a really nice personalized approach. So if you're using ChatGPT, you can obviously feed ChatGPT all this information about the company, about their role, where they're at, what's the potential challenges of that industry, and they'll tailor a really nice reply, which you can then utilize in your outreach. There's a lot of automated systems now that have got APIs linked into ChatGPT-4 and stuff, and that's happening on autopilot. So I think the difference between a human profile on LinkedIn and a autonomous AI bot profile is getting very blurred. This month, I'm actually trialing a few bot accounts to seeing what they're capable of, and ultimately you're building up a virtual sales team, people that are kind of fictitious, but they're driving people to your appointments, driving people to your calendars on your behalf. So yeah, look out for that. You'll probably start to see a lot of that happening on the platform. So understanding your ideal clients, obviously LinkedIn search filters is the biggest thing that you can utilize. And what that looks like, just for you guys, a quick demonstration. LinkedIn.com. This is the easiest search you can do on LinkedIn, trying to find some prospects. So big old search box at the top. You can search for owner, and then you can search for founder, or you could search for quotation marks like managing director, and then close the quotes, and that'll actually find just managing director. So it won't find the word managing or director separately in two different profiles. So it finds the full string. And then you can also do not retired. So that should pull out anybody that's got the word retired in their profile, okay, or in their job role. So once we've searched, we go down to people search and give this a try. I mean, if you're logged into LinkedIn now, feel free to open another tab and see the sort of prospects you get. In terms of connections, obviously you can see your existing network. So first degree is your existing network. So if you want to identify people who are already in your network who have got that. So I've got 4,700 potential prospects. So pretty much half of my network is all of that job role. But if I wanted to filter it down maybe just to the UK, because I'm based in the UK and it's obviously a nice time zone for me to work with, that pulls out about 300 prospects there. So 300 that are international that I probably don't need to be connecting with. But yeah, so I've got a list of all these relevant people coming up. We can then go to all filters, and that's where we can target different industries as well. So LinkedIn Basic, the filters are quite limited. So if I was go for consulting, marketing, show results, that will give me a list of 843 results in my first degree network. So if we wanted to connect with those people, we'd just send them a message because they're already in our network. It's just a matter of clicking on message and writing them an appropriate message. Now, we've got a few hybrid approaches, which I'll go into a bit later, and I'll demonstrate how those work. But that's how we would conduct basically a nudge campaign. We'd have a list of people, and we just work down from that list. There's 20 people per page, or it could even be 10 prospects per page, and it's working through those 10. Going to your next page, working through the next 10. Obviously, if you've got an automated system, I'll show you how that works, because that's when it's going to save time, because whilst you're sleeping in bed or busy working, doing the stuff you love doing, it's literally just going down each message as it goes along on autopilot. And LinkedIn does allow it, and it knows it goes on. You've got to play by their rules and play by the volumes to keep them happy. You may see that I'm also a Sales Navigator subscriber. So Sales Navigator gives you these extra filters. So the Sales Navigator advanced core filters, these are what we're talking about here. Sales Navigator core. So it's a premium version of LinkedIn. It does cost around about £66, 66 plus VAT per month. So yeah, expect this is what you get for that extra money. You get LinkedIn off your case. So if you're pushing out more than the 100 a week, you probably want to consider a LinkedIn paid subscription like Premium or Sales Nav, just to keep them off your back. But yeah, within here, you've got all these extra filters. So you've got, just click on that little button. No, I'll just make my window slightly bigger for you and then it'll appear. So we've got two columns of lots of filters here now. So we've got personal filters, so we can actually say, hey, do they belong to a certain group that you're also in? The language of their profile, seniority level. So we can go in and choose the seniority level for that person. We can also go for connection. Say we just want second degree connections. And we could say, here we go, post spotlight activities. Just show me people who have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. And the likelihood is those people are going to be a lot more likely to respond to you. With the current job title, so you can put director like that, type it in, and include director. But if you don't want a certain type of director, so it could be, we'll exclude a finance related role. So you've got finance, head of finance. So you can actually choose to exclude people as well from the search. And that's just refining your audience. So eventually you'll have a really nice refined audience of people you can connect to, people you don't want to connect to. This search is just huge, 97,000. Ideally, if you're using automation tools, you want to be looking at around about 2,500 prospects. If you've just got the free version of LinkedIn over here, then you want to be hitting around about 1,000 prospects on a search. Any more than that, and you won't be able to import them into automation tools. If you're doing it manually, it doesn't matter. Just keep going with whatever prospects come up. If they look relevant, just message them out. But the idea with the Sales Navigator is we basically have a more refined list of prospects. Sales Navigator is absolutely free of charge for 30 days. You can, put a credit card in. They don't take any money. You can cancel it on the first day, so you don't get the renewal in months later when you've forgotten. So yeah, this will give you access to this tool. It's also worth noting, LinkedIn has an algorithm that runs in the background, /sales/SSI. It's called the Social Selling Index. It looks a little bit like this once you load it up. So it's linkedin.com/sales/SSI. Social Selling Index gives you a score out of 100, which is almost like a percentage, and across 4 key areas in LinkedIn. So establishing your professional brand, finding the right people, engaging with insights, and building relationships. Obviously, if you've got an automation tool like Leadeth, it's doing a lot of this on autopilot. Engaging with insights used to be my weakest area. I've managed to claw that back now. So it's just doing searches and finding people, which is where I fall down. But having an automation system and doing regular searches for people, that's going to help. So the more you stay in LinkedIn, the more it likes you and the more it'll allow you to do more, basically. But yeah, you can see across your, across your industry where you're ranking. I'm in the top 1% and the top 1% of my network in terms of my network scores. So so punching well above my weight in terms of the social selling index. Back to the slideshow quickly. So we've got Sales Navigator. We've done a little bit on that. So LinkedIn groups and LinkedIn events. So these both work very similarly. So recently I've seen a lot of success from LinkedIn events. So instead of doing a search up here, so it could be you're trying to find an audience of maybe people interested in wellness. Maybe that's on your agenda, on your radar at the moment. So we can search in for wellness as a keyword. And instead of doing a people search, we're going to search for groups. And basically what we get presented with is a list of people interested in professional development, wellness, mental health, self-help, self-improvement network. So yeah, all these groups are basically congregation points on LinkedIn for your target market potentially. It could be you go to join that group. So when you click join, you'll get a request to then that'll be accepted in normally 3 or 4 days. And then once you've been accepted to that group, it will look something like this. So I'm part of some lead generation groups. So if I search for lead generation, you can see those first 4 I'm a member of. So we've got B2B sales and marketing group I'm part of. So here we go. This is a LinkedIn group. Allows you to basically share your knowledge and not sell yourself, just share industry knowledge relevant to the group. Some groups have rules. So have a read of those rules and you can see who the admins are of the group. But here you can see show all. So you can actually see who all the prospects are, all the potential people are within your group. And why this is really powerful is because obviously LinkedIn have a limitation for reaching out to 100 connection requests per week. And obviously, if you go via groups with a message, because they're both in the same group, that goes past the LinkedIn 100 a week limitation. So you could send, 100 a day, messages a day if you wanted to. So group campaigns is where we basically target people via LinkedIn groups. So we're identifying people with the same sort of target market audience theme, and we target them through group. So this is very much about a numbers game, whereas second degree connecting, first degrees is very much highly targeted. But what you can do is actually combine the two. So if you've got Sales Navigator, you can say, right, groups out of current job titles, directors based in a certain location and members of such and such group. So if I was to type in my lead gen here, so lead gen, I think I'm just going to have a look what that one was called. It's called B2B sales groups, B2B sales. That's one, sales, social media, and lead generation. So out of the people that are in my network, all these people, 450 people, are also, in this group with me as well. So that is a beautiful way in to start to connect with people, because it could say, hey, I noticed you're also a member of the B2B sales marketing group on LinkedIn. I thought we've got some mutual interest and several mutual connections because they're second degree, not third degree. Could we connect? And that, because you've got two unique things that, bring you together, that's going to kind of supercharge the relationship, and you're going to get more acceptance rate. And that's how it works on LinkedIn events as well. So with LinkedIn events, instead of doing a search here for, I'll just go back to the wellness example and search all of LinkedIn for wellness. And we can obviously refine that just to events that are running on LinkedIn. So there's two main types of events. There's either events that will take you offline to another actual event page like Eventbrite or tickets, or people can host the event on LinkedIn, and that could be an audio event. It could also be a virtual live stream event, which is what I do on my weekly lead generation masterclasses. So we can see tomorrow, Monday, tomorrow, there's 4 wellness events. Okay. And some of these events, this was student public celebrity self-care and wellness. And there's another one here. 1-day intensive seminar wellness, 52 attendees. So the beauty with events is that once you say you're going to the event, so if I search for my lead generation masterclass, which is my own LinkedIn event, can't find any. It's not coming up because it's live at the moment. So if I take you to my event page, eventually it'll load. Here we go. Strategies for growing your connections and influence on LinkedIn. So this is my live event, which is running at the moment. Within here, we can see we've got 37 other attendees. So we're going in via the event. So again, we've got the same sort of filters, but we're looking at everyone else who's coming along to the LinkedIn event, and then we can then message them using the messaging tool there. So I've got 4 pages, almost 40 prospects here that I'm going to have to follow up with. So LinkedIn events is a very powerful way as well to find your audience, find your prospects. There's no harm in scraping other people's events. So it could be a competitor of yours is also running events. So they're doing all the hard work in kind of bringing people together for that event. So, if you say you'll join that event or say you're going to attend that event, you can then reach out to all the competitors' prospects. And it could be your competitors' minimum price is, £10,000, whereas you're going in with a much cheaper product at £1,000. So they're going to have probably a lot of people that aren't going to go any further in their sales funnel because the price is kind of the offender. So if you've got a differentiator where you're delivering a very similar product to them, but your pricing is much more keener, then potentially you could win a lot more business by scraping people. Obviously, they've paid a lot of money to get people to their event. They've done all the hard work. So you're just kind of it's a bit cheeky, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's fair game. So have a think about LinkedIn events, because that's a really good strategy. So connection methods. So there's several different connection methods. We're going to look at some of those. So we've looked at some of them already. And the problem with manual methods is often they can be very slow. They can be very time consuming and very inefficient. And when you start to automate some of these methods, obviously it's going to be much faster. On the kind of counter attack with the semi-automatic methods, it's going to be faster, but it's not as personal. You can still personalize to some degree. So we've got a lot of filters within the software that we create that kind of make it still quite personable, but you will lose that 100% genuine response from a human being. So it is a kind of bit of a coin that you need to flip. Whereas a fully automated method, obviously, that can be really accurate, and you will also get insights and reporting in terms of that data. So that helps you to have A/B split tests. So you can have one campaign running and another campaign running and trade them off each other and see which one's generating more results. And then at the end of the week, if you're getting more results from, campaign B, to refine that campaign B a bit further, maybe tweak it and further split it down to an A/B split test. So you'll have B1 and B2, and you just keep going with that alliteration of what you're doing. So yeah, that's a little bit about some of the methods there involved. I'm happy to dive into some of those methods if anyone wants me to do a bit of a close up. Oh, a bird just flew into my window, which went bang. I hope he's all right. Yeah, he flew straight back out. So cool. So yeah, a little bit about OpenAI. So OpenAI is a ChatGPT, basically. It's this AI robot that understands and knows your audience and can create a bespoke response that's going to be really relevant and tailored to your audience. So we can actually start to build out a personalized campaign based on that. So to feed it information, one thing that you might like to look at is having your story brand or your website and copying the website content. GPT. Just going to log into ChatGPT here and show you a live demo. Hopefully it's all working. So my story brand is based on a book by Donald Miller. There's a copy of it. It's called Building a Story Brand. Donald Miller, American kind of New York bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller, apparently. He's written this book, and it basically explains the process that movies hit the box office in the US and around the world. Basically, the reason they are a box office hit is because they follow a framework, and every movie that hits the box office and is a hit follows that same model. I'm just going to show you what that model looks like. A bit off tangent today, but basically, I've created a story brand for Leadeth. So there's a character. So you have to understand, who is this character? So for me, the character is a business owner or professional looking to improve their visibility on LinkedIn, generate consistent qualified leads repeatedly, and they want to improve their visibility on LinkedIn and start a bit of duplication there. I'll get rid of that. And start receiving qualified opportunities to do business. So that is kind of the character, your persona. You can also put, their age, their gender, if that's relevant to you. What is the problem? So what is their problem? So for me, my clients, that it's a lack of understanding about technology, effective marketing funnel creation on LinkedIn. So that's the villain. We call that the villain. There's an external factor. So clients don't have the time or skills to create effective lead gen systems for their business. There's also this internal, what are their emotions? What are their feelings? What's this problem causing them? So for me, clients often feel overwhelmed by LinkedIn, constantly having to post on social media, engaging with posts and reaching out to new prospects. That's the pain point. That's what they don't want to be doing. And then obviously we've got this philosophical reason here. So clients might be losing sleep or experiencing increased levels of anxiety and worry when their next customer will turn up. This moves into the next stage, which is a guide. So they meet the hero of the story, and we use empathy and authority. So for me, an experienced LinkedIn expert, lead gen specialist, I understand the challenges and frustrations that they face when it comes to leveraging lead generation. Okay. And authority. So in the last 3 years, I've worked with over 85 clients, successfully helped them to improve their visibility and generate consistently qualified leads on LinkedIn. And then we have to give people a plan. What is the process? How can we achieve their goals? How can we address their pain point? So for me, I have a 3-step process. Actually, I showed you my 5-step process, which was my customer journey. But if you can condense that down into basically 3 simple steps for a sales landing page or whatever, it looks much better. So find new prospects who fit your buyer persona using LinkedIn. create an effective connection and engagement campaign. And then 3, check your inbox, respond to all the leads that have replied, and nurture them with follow-up templates. That's the system. That's what we're doing in basic terms. The agreement, obviously, we offer flexible subscription model with no lengthy contracts, and you can subscribe to our servants monthly and subscribe at any time. So that's going to be a unique selling point as well, which will help. Call to action. So what do we want them to do? So what is the direct call to action? So the next step for people interested in my services is to schedule a strategy call where they'll learn a bit more about Leadeth and how I can help them achieve their LinkedIn lead generation goals. I can also put a strategy together for them. So it's all that's added value. We've got this transitional thing, which is, what can you use to ramp up the number of prospects coming through this funnel? Lead magnets, typically. So for me, I've got my 13-week online lead generation masterclass, which you're watching now. And the art of generating consistent qualified leads on LinkedIn. That's what the aim is of these masterclasses, to give people tips, show them how it's done. So that can build kind of trust and rapport. What does success look like for them? So obviously clients that I've worked with, they talk about improved visibility on LinkedIn. Their brands have been really boosted. Their networks have grown. That's one of the main things. Their networks are much larger. They've had consistent qualified leads, and they've had more time to focus on converting those potential leads to new customers. Higher conversion rates, people see a better ROI for marketing spend, and they just see really good business growth. Time and resource savings. Obviously, by automating, they're going to see time and resource savings there as well, not having to invest in an external team. There's also one other there, which is enhanced productivity. The system is built really nicely, so you can actually start to maximize those goals and productivity. So once we've got that, what's the problem? So how do we help them to avoid failure? So obviously missed opportunities. Clients often would lose prospects, and that would be really frustrating for them. Whereas this system basically logs every lead into an inbox. There's no way of not seeing it. Literally, you've got to action every single lead and move them on to the next step. So it's very efficient. So you're saving time, you're saving money, and obviously it's going to help clients avoid stagnant growth. It's going to help them avoid being in the same place that they are week in, week out, and left behind their competitors. Obviously, their competitors are embracing this technology. They're going to be starting to get ahead of them. So that's kind of some of the pain points. And then we've got this character transformation bit. So before, where clients are, how they were feeling, frustrated, overwhelmed, uncertainty to achieve their goals. Whereas after working with Leadeth, they're much more confident, empowered individuals who have successfully harnessed the power of the solution, and they embrace their new identity as accomplished achievers equipped with the tools and resources to thrive their endeavors. So what we can actually do is copy all of this. So Control A, see if I can copy it. So I basically copied my whole brand script, so to say. We can go into ChatGPT and use that brand script as the backbone of our business and what we're about and how we can help people. And that will help me to then script a really bespoke connection message or a cold email. So whatever we want to create, we can then create it. So for example, we'll just go next. So here we go. So we've got a bit of an here is my brand story script following the model of I've forgotten his name, Donald Miller. And then at the end, just put, please write me a introduction message to reconnect with my first degree connections. I'll call it a direct message or a DM. First degree connections on LinkedIn. Use up to 100 words. 50 to 100 words, keeps it nice and concise. Write in British English. get rid of some of those Americanisms that are going on. So that's typically what you would do. Send that off to ChatGPT. ChatGPT has even given you a subject line: boost your LinkedIn lead generation with Leadeth. And the message is really good. Here we go, hi first name. So obviously we can add a data tag or type their first name in. I hope this message finds you well. As a business owner or professional like yourself, I know the challenges you face when it comes to leveraging LinkedIn for lead generation. That's why I wanted to reconnect and introduce you to Leadeth. So it could be you're connecting with people you've connected to about 3 years ago, and they've got no idea about what you're doing, not seen your profile, living under a bit of a stone, and they're just a bit dark and unaware. So it's another opportunity just to reconnect with people. Leadeth is a proven solution that helps improve your visibility on LinkedIn and generate consistent qualified leads for your business. Experienced team of LinkedIn experts and lead generation specialists. This is gold, this stuff. Works with over 85 clients and helping them achieve their LinkedIn lead generation goals. Flexible subscription model, low length contracts, take advantage of it. Yep, you've got, you're addressing, potential objections, range of strategies and tools. Invite you to schedule a strategy call and learn how. Alternatively, yep. So you've got two options there: the strategy call or the 13-week lead generation masterclass to master the art of conquering leads on LinkedIn. So don't miss the opportunities waiting for you on LinkedIn. Let Leadeth be your guide to success. That is brilliant. That's blooming gold. So I'm going to copy that and save that for later. So what we now need to do is, if you're not using any automation software, is often you don't want to be copy and pasting all the time. So there's a great little plugin for Chrome called Magical. Looks a little bit like that little M. And what we can do is create what we call shortcuts. These are called AI shortcuts. And this is, if you were doing it manually, this is how we would do it. So I would create a shortcut and you give it a trigger name. So I'm going to call this trigger name, what should we call it? We'll call it first deg. I'll use a special character to start a trigger. So / unable to use drawing entries for doesn't like special calendar. Oh, so plus. Say plus. I'm going to put plus 1 ST lead, first lead, basically. So whenever I write, or first L to make it shorter. So we can use ChatGPT to write the prompts, but hi first name, we're going to paste in that the message that we put there. We can put a bit more personalization to this. Maybe just get rid of the word leadeth.io. Yeah. Just need a bit of a stronger call to action. So https leadeth.io/strategy. So we're actually going to add in a strategy URL. And then we can also add in the masterclass for the 13-week masterclass. So book a one-to-one. And then we've got the other call to action, which is our 13-week masterclass. Register for my 13-week master. Warm regards. And then we've got kind regards, Alex. So what we've done here is create a beautiful template. Found it at leadeth.io. So this is triggered by plus first L. Okay, so I'll just show you how this works. So we're going into LinkedIn. We're finding someone in our first degree network. So for example, this one here, so we can do, these people that are already aware, kind of, they need a different message, these guys. So I'm just going to go for some show results, go for some first degrees in my network and connection. They're also interested in B2B sales. So this will be a good test, just show how to do it manually. Obviously, if you were just in the basic version of LinkedIn, this is how you would do it as well there. So we're going to go in, we've got a prospect, so we can then go to that message icon. and we can start by writing a message to him. Okay, but we're going to start with +1 STL. As soon as we type that +1 STL, we've got the automated email comes up, and this is saving loads of time. So we can click first name, and it's populated it with his first name. Hi, Stuart. Hope this message finds you well. As business like yourself, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, and we can also check it. I've got Grammarly as well. So yeah, and that's how you can send pretty quickly a bespoke email without too many edits. It's pretty on fire, and we can just click send, and that will go off to the prospect. He'll come back to us today and hopefully be delighted to either book in a strategy call or book in a masterclass with me. So that's how it's done. Obviously, if you've got the Leadeth tool, I'm running out of time today, really, really quickly, but just a quick overview of what we're doing in the Leadeth tool for all those that are still tuned in. Leadeth is it's a powerful sales engagement tool, as I say. It takes all the heavy lifting out of what you've just seen there, creating all those manual messages. Basically, we're dropping in 1,000 prospects into a campaign, or 2,500 if you've got Sales Navigator, and we're doing all that work on autopilot. So, for example, we can see here we've got a Sales Directors campaign that I've started last week or so. We can go to Open Sequence Build, and you can actually start to see what's going on. So it looks quite daunting at first when people see these funnels. I think, wow. So all the 1,000 prospects, they're coming into the top of this funnel. They're starting here, lead source from LinkedIn. We've got perform an action. So we perform a profile view on your behalf because we're connected to your LinkedIn profile. We're liking their three most recent posts automatically. We can also follow their profile and endorse skills if we want to. I think it's a bit early in the relationship to be endorsing a skill because you don't really know them yet. But if you want extra kudos and you want stuff to kind of bounce back to you inbound, then that might be a great way. The connection request. So hi, first name, as a fellow, and then I've put the occupation. So I basically say as a fellow sales director, if they're a sales director, and I'm putting in sales directors here. I thought you might be interested in my lead generation masterclass, free Tuesday morning session where I share proven strategies to boost whatever company name it is, their sales pipeline. So that's how we do it. That obviously goes on autopilot. It waits a day. Once we're connected with them, 3 days later, send a nice follow-up message. And then the follow-up messages basically says, just a quick follow-up. The next lead generation is filling up. So please, so just a reminder really to get them to kind of join in. But we thank them for connecting if that's a new connection request. So yeah, just a quick follow-up. Yeah, I haven't actually thanked them for connecting. And to thank you for connecting. So yeah, you can change any elements as you are. The beauty with this campaign is we then go via email. So we've actually got an email that we can send to them. We connect our LinkedIn, Google Mail account or Hotmail accounts. And then we're basically sending them kind of get to know each other call is what I call it, a 15-minute session where they can book a diary with me on Zoom, just see if they're a good fit, see if there's any synergy there with the prospect, or share them a bit more about Leadeth, give them a demo. And that's what I'm doing. It's, thanks for connecting message, and it puts their first name in the subject line to, in the hope that pushes past the spam a little bit more. So that's an email that goes out. And obviously, when you turn these campaigns on, let's just save changes and go back. I'm going to show you what the inbox. So you're coming in. I've not been into my inbox today. So yeah, I've got 9 emails here ready to roll. And all I'm doing is basically coming in and then responding to these emails or prospects. So you can go to all your unread messages. Have a look at, here's one, Steve Cast, LinkedIn messages. So you can see a history of all the previous messages. And see what's going on. You can go to emails and have a look if emails have been sent out as well. So clearly 2 hours ago, I sent a little reminder email about my sorry, that came back from him, and that was a 4 months. Oh, interesting. Yeah, not sure why he sent an out of office reply. It's because my masterclass. Basically, I send emails automatically on the back of LinkedIn events. So he's responded with an out of office reply on that. So then I could get back to him, knowing that he's back on the 10th of July. I could then reply to that message, or I could send a LinkedIn message back to him and choose the appropriate reply. So it could be the not interested reply. Thanks for reply. Yeah, so a bit like that. If you know anyone in your network, blah, 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 and I can set it for when he gets back. So I know he's away until the 10th. So on the 11th at 9 in the morning, boom, he's got a message from me scheduled to go out just to nudge that relationship, nudge it further. So that's a bit of a super quick demo of what we're doing there with Leadeth. Obviously, I've demonstrated kind of like how we go about automating those campaigns. Be good to listen to any big takeaways from people at the moment, where they're at. Ashley, you still with us on the call? Morning, Ashley. Anything to add from yourself? Sorry, I've gone on a bit too long today.
No, it was really interesting to see all that automation stuff. I wasn't even aware you could do half of those things on LinkedIn, and I can see just how much time it can save. It's really interesting.
Yeah, great. Happy to answer any questions. If you've got any specific questions, now's the time.
No, not for me at the moment. It's quite a lot to take in, but thanks for your time.
No, that's all right. Great to have you with us. And we must get out on the paddle boards one day. It's beautiful weather today. I don't know what the wind was pretty bad yesterday, wasn't it? But I'm looking forward to getting back out there. I do miss it. Great. So we're gonna stop the recording and stop the live stream. Just thank you everyone for tuning in, and feel free to comment in the live stream chat if you've got any questions. If you want a strategy session call with me where we basically look at a LinkedIn lead generation strategy for your business, normally takes us about 45 minutes to an hour. I'll leave a link in the comments below so you can book one of those. But looking forward to reaching out to you all and helping you with your lead gen.